It is 10 below in Texas in February right now, and there's not a whole lot you can grow outside because there's snow. Do you see that snow? It's crazy. But there is something you can grow inside. It's microgreens. I'm gonna show you how I saved money by using some bulk chia seeds, and we're gonna take a look at some other cost-saving measures. Stay tuned. So this is a look at everything you will need to start your microgreens, and I should have separated them out, but I've actually got 2 sets of Tupperware in there. And this is my seed starting mix. I just got this from, I think, Lowe's or Home Depot, but it's better for starting microgreens because the soil, it's tighter, it doesn't have as much debris, and it's got that vermiculite in there, which is good for starting these little microgreens. Another thing that you're going to want to do with the Tupperware is you're going to need to put a couple of drainage holes in there. That way that the water can drain out the bottom. If you do not put drainage holes, you might get root rot, and that's not good. Okay, so we got the tray all filled up with our soil. That's my little helper there. And then what you do not want to shake it because then all of the soil will fall out. But I use the lid to my Tupperware as a drainage base. But what you can do is you can use 2 pieces of Tupperware and put them together, and then the second one can act as a drainage. Okay, so I bought this from Home Depot. It's a microgreens mix, but what I've learned since then is if you're buying it in little packets like this, it's way more expensive, and there aren't as many seeds as you think there are. And that's what they look like there. They're pretty big, and of course it's a mix, so they're gonna be different sizes and shapes. So there's not a lot in there. But what you want to do with microgreens is you want to sew them closely together, and you want to put them on top of the soil. So that's what we're doing here. But I also purchased just a really big bag of chia seeds that you can eat from Aldi, and I use that to put in, I make overnight chia seed pudding, I put it in oatmeal, different things like that. And so my second go around with sowing microgreens, I used a tablespoon of chia seeds. And that actually turned out really well. And if you stay tuned till the end of this video, you can see what that growth looks like. But right now we're just using this, the microgreens that we bought from Home Depot. Okay, so now we need to put the water in. And you're just going to want to be really gentle because you don't want to disturb where the seeds are and kind of make a big mess. And it also would have been a good idea to pre-moisten the soil. I did not do that, but in the future what you can do is just put the soil in a bowl, pour some water with it, and then mix it up and then put it in your tray. But this is just fine. It's not going to hurt anything. If you forget to do that step, that's okay. So just water it and make sure it's really nice and watered. And then next we're going to want to take a paper towel, we're going to moisten it, squeeze out that excess water, and then we're going to take it and put it on top of the seeded tray. And this is good for 2 things. It's going to put the seeds in darkness, which is what they need to germinate, and then it'll also help retain that extra moisture. And then we're going to take the Tupperware tray, press it down, and make sure that you're actually going to want to flip it over and make sure that there's pressure on the seeds because it'll help it grow a little bit stronger. And you're going to put it in darkness for 2 to 4 days before taking it out and putting it in the sun. And above it, I've just got a little LED light that's shining over it, but there is plenty of light from the window that I've got there. But this is after 2 weeks. And another thing that you'll find after you take it out of darkness, I put it in a drawer for 2 to 4 days, but you'll find that they're white because they haven't received any sun. And that's kind of an interesting science talk you can have with your kiddo. They haven't received any sun, so there's no photosynthesis, so they can't be green, right? But yeah, here they are. They're all grown up. The red stuff was really spicy. I can't recall what it is right now, but it's really good. But yeah, as you can see, there's not a lot. Okay, so this is the growth that I received from my chia seeds. So the first one you saw was really scraggly. It didn't have a whole lot of growth in it because there wasn't a whole lot in that mix. But this is from the big bag of Aldi chia seeds. I put a tablespoon in, and it grew really, really well, and the taste was really good too. And so this is what it looks like when I harvested them. You're just gonna cut it and just pretty much leave nothing at the bottom there. If I could go back and do this a little bit better, I would have added more dirt to the Tupperware because it would have gotten it higher, and I wouldn't have had to cut away, leave so much there because I couldn't really get the scissors in there. And those are just kitchen scissors. You can get little pruning scissors, and that's helpful, but those scissors work just fine for me. Whatever you have around the house, I would just say sterilize them, wash them really good before you use any scissors to cut your microgreens. Yeah, and so that's everything that I got from the chia seed microgreens. And you don't have to wash them because you knew what environment they grew up in, but I went ahead and I washed them before I ate them. But yeah, that's as much as I got, and they're great because they pack 40 times the amount of nutrients as their full-grown counterparts. Those leaves at the top, they're called their true leaves, and they're just packed with nutrients. We put this in some salad. You can do all kinds of things with it. You can saute them, and you won't get any more growth from this, so you're going to want to throw it out and start the process over. So since you won't get any more growth, you could use the dirt and everything that's left over and put it in a compost pile. I hear people do that, and it's good. But this is it. It's fun. It takes 2 to 4, or I would say 1 to 2 weeks for you to see a real growth, and it's a big win because it happens quickly. You can eat it quickly, and it's just fun to do. Guys, if you enjoyed this video, please like and subscribe, and I'd love to hear about what you're doing with microgreens.